This week, the city of Detroit is honoring the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. You may be surprised to find she died without a will or trust. So what does that mean for her survivors? So our estate planning expert, David Carrier, is here to explain. You know, we go through this all the time. It seems like all these musical stars, these big celebrities, no will, no trust. Estates are worth tens of millions of dollars.
Well, yeah, well, supposedly she's worth around 80 million. Wow. Remember when Prince died, we did that whole thing with the dolls and
yes, exactly.
clocks, and that was, he had like 200 million. Yeah, so people get all wound up about the celebrities. The guy who did The Sopranos, when he died, because of the way he set it up, he incurred all kinds of extra taxes for his family. And you know, you look at that, you say, well, that's terrible. Oh my goodness, terrible, terrible. And it's like, I'm not so sure it's so terrible. She had think about it this way. She had 4 kids, right? $80 million. Now, 30 to 40 million is going to go for federal estate tax, to pay the lawyers, yay, the lawyers, to pay the accountants and all the other people trying to sort all this mess out, okay? So there's $40 million left. Divide by 4, that's $10 million each. And she has a special needs child who needs extra stuff.
Right.
But $10 million, it goes along, you know, you can try it. You can stretch $10 million. So my thing is, and this is sort of my philosophy about all this, people are like, oh, you need a will, you need a trust. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, okay? What you got to focus on is, what is the end result, right? I mean, so for Aretha Franklin, for her to decide, oh, by the way, I'm not going to do that stuff. I don't need it. I got so much. There'll be plenty for everybody. And if I left them more, I wouldn't be doing them any favors, right?
Okay.
I mean, she could make that decision.
Well, she could make that decision. However, maybe she wanted to specify certain charities
she could have done that
will end up getting a part of that, of her massive estate.
Right.
And so it was interesting as I was reading, Oakland County probate judge will end up now being in charge of all of this.
Right.
Someone who may or may not have even met her while she was living.
Exactly.
So the stranger gets to decide what happens to all your stuff.
Right, right. But like I said, but see, here's my thing. At the end of the day, the kids are okay.
Yeah.
And the problem is for like regular folks.
Like us.
Like us.
Yeah, we don't have as much
We don't have $80 million. I mean, you don't get to, see, she can take a hit, right? Her kids can take they can lose half the estate. They still have 40 million bucks. Not bad.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
But if you take a hit, if the people that we deal with, the families that we deal with, they can't take a hit. You know, and you got to think about, at the end of the day, who does this affect? Well, if your kid was getting 10 million bucks, you'd say, good for the kid.
Right.
Nobody gave me 10 million bucks. But what we're focused on is, what about your spouse? Now, if you don't plan ahead, if you don't do the sort of life planning that I'm always yakking about, right? Now your spouse winds up without getting the care that they need. They wind up in a long-term care facility, 3 squares, 3 roommates, and all the life savings that you piled up, because you didn't pile up $80 million.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And where does that go?
Well, you go
Boom.
through, you go through that very, very quickly.
Like nothing.
We know nursing home care is so very expensive. So you have life plan workshops, we call them.
We do life plan.
Basically, you're planning for the end of your life.
Right. Well, really,
the later stage
most
of your life.
Most people are worried about, how do I get it to the kids? You know, avoiding probate, saving taxes, getting it to the, that's what everybody's all concerned about. And for us, that's not the big deal. For us, the big deal is, how do I make sure that what you and your spouse built up will serve you and your spouse? The tragedy is that 2/3 of the time, if you're caring for a loved one at home, you're caring for your spouse at home, you're the one who's going to die first. And the thing is, people kill themselves keeping the spouse out of the nursing home.
Right.
And now what happens? Well, the money's gone like that. The feet first out the door. Well, wait a second. What if you took advantage of some of the options that are out there, some of the programs that are out there, right? Let's focus on you, not Aretha Franklin. I mean, did I tell you the story? I met her at,
I met her at
the
grocery
checkout.
store. Yes,
yeah. I didn't know who she was. Well, she was wearing a house coat. You know, what do you want from me? But the cashier was like, well, that's Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin, yeah, that is terrific. Okay, so you have life plan workshops.
Right.
You also have the opportunity for people to make appointments with you, get into the workshop, but also people have different ideas about what level of support they're going to need.
Exactly. And that's why the life plan workshops are so helpful. But, you know, we're doing other workshops, too. We've got get this, a workshop for trustees.
Okay.
So if you're the one who's been pointed at, you're the one who's going to be taking care of these things for mom and dad, we have a workshop just for whether we did the plan or not, doesn't matter. And we're just starting next month, I think it is, a new workshop for beneficiaries. See, there's a way to be a good beneficiary. All right, you're going to be getting stuff. Well, how long is it going to take? What should you do? What should you look forward to? All those setting expectations, right? Like I say, in a case like Aretha, there's no expectations. Who knows what's going to happen? Be very exciting for a lot of people.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Now you had some excitement in your life. We prefer, you know, not to have that excitement, but and that's how so how to be a good beneficiary, how to be a good trustee. What we're really trying to do is kind of complete the circle. Your stuff serves you, but then when you pass it on, right, we do it the most effective and efficient way. So it actually gets to your, and that's kind of everything we do. We don't go into it with a preconceived notion that, oh, you got to have this or you must do that. It's like, what's going on in your life, and then let's figure out what serves you.
That sounds fantastic. Well, thanks, David. Great information, very timely, very topical, and of course, you can always check them out online. And stay right there. More of 8 West when we come back. Don't go away.
And of course, we'd love to have a